Michelle Bachmann.
I'm Newt Gingrich.
Mitt Romney.
And Ron Paul.
Tim Pawlenty.
Herman Cain.
To seek the office of the presidency of the United States today.
During the last weeks of this campaign, there will be debates, speeches, and more ads. But if I could sit down with you in your living room or around the kitchen table, here's what I'd say. When I took office, we were losing nearly 800,000 jobs a month, and we're mired in a rut. Today, I believe that as a nation, we are moving forward again. But we have much more to do to get folks back to work and make the middle class secure again.
My plan is to help the middle class. Trade has to work for America. That means crack down on cheaters like China. It means open up new markets. Next, you got to balance the budget. You got to cut the deficit. You've got to stop spending more money than we take in. And finally, champion small business. Have tax policies, regulations, and health care policies that help small business. We put those in place, we'll add 12 million new jobs in 4 years.
I'm Mitt Romney, and I approve this message.
Now, Governor Romney believes that with even bigger tax cuts for the wealthy and fewer regulations on Wall Street, all of us will prosper. In other words, he doubled down on the same trickle-down policies that led to the crisis in the first place. So what's my plan? First, we create 1 million new manufacturing jobs and help businesses double their exports. Give tax breaks to companies that invest in America, not that ship jobs overseas. Second, we cut our oil imports in half and produce more American-made energy. Oil, clean coal, natural gas, and new resources like wind, solar, and biofuels, all while doubling the fuel efficiency of cars and trucks. Third, we ensure that we maintain the best workforce in the world by preparing 100,000 additional math and science teachers, training 2 million Americans with the job skills they need at our community colleges, cutting the growth of tuition in half, and expanding student aid so more Americans can afford it. Fourth, a balanced plan to reduce our deficit by $4 trillion over the next decade. On top of the trillion in spending we've already cut, I'd ask the wealthy to pay a little more. And as we end the war in Afghanistan, let's apply half the savings to pay down our debt and use the rest for some nation building right here at home. It's time for a new economic patriotism, rooted in the belief that growing our economy begins with a strong, thriving middle class. Read my plan, compare it to Governor Romney's, and decide for yourself. Thanks for listening.
Rick Perry getting ready to tell all his supporters.
Thank you for that support and for those prayers.
Thank you tonight for this great victory.
Now is not the time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Romney now has more than enough delegates.
Today, I'm suspending the campaign.
I was born in Hawaii.
It's still about the economy.
You didn't build that.
Unchain Wall Street.
The president has 52%.
The next president of the United States, Paul Ryan.
What do you mean, shut up?
Mr. Chairman,
I accept your nomination for president of the United States.
All right, there are 47% who are with him.
I like PBS. I love Big Bird. Middle-income families are being crushed, buried, being crushed.
For the first time, lead for Mitt Romney.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
Mr. Vice President, I know you're under a lot of duress.
We are here for the second presidential debate.
You cut permits and licenses.
Not true, Governor Romney.
Binders full of women.
I felt really well rested after the nice long nap I had in the first debate.
Don't concur.
Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets.
Attacking me is not talking about an agenda.
President Obama, he is canceling campaign events.
If nothing else changed in the map,
You know the magic number 270.
When you elect a president,
He told his supporters.
you want to know
Issues that were according to Blunt. But tonight she said that was all forgiven. They are here for the president tonight, George. As one gentleman said to me, it's almost like a couple renewing their wedding vows. Maybe they're not as giddy as they were on their honeymoon, but at the end of the day, they still love each other. And tonight, I think you see that this love is still here for the president. These people are beside themselves with excitement, right?
I love it. Loving it. 4 more years.
However somber you say they were, Jeffrey, you can't prove it by what we're seeing right now. We can barely
Diane
hear
Sawyer
you.
and George Stephanopoulos.
And here we mark the time. Here we are. Ohio is in. We are projecting the battleground state of Ohio for President Barack Obama, which means You are looking at the President of the United States. Barack Obama has been reelected, the 44th president. Listen to the crowd out in Times Square. The man who came in promising the audacity of hope 4 years ago will now have a chance to promise possibility, a new future for the next 4 years. Coming up, George.
Another chapter in an improbable journey. It is well to remember right now that just 10 years ago, Barack Obama was a state senator in Illinois. Now he is a re-elected president of the United States. A very different campaign from 4 years ago. 4 years ago, he rode a wave into office.